Well, hello again. Today in our lesson we're going to be looking at different types of sentences. So we're going to see if we can understand different types of sentence. To be successful, we're going to see if we can name some different sentence types. We're going to see if we can find statements and questions. We're going to see if we can understand commands and exclamations. And we're going to see if we can create our own different types of sentences once we've understood what they are. So, there are 4 different types of sentence that we can see. We can see statements, we can see questions, we can see commands, and we can see exclamations. They all have different jobs and they use different types of punctuation to show what type of sentence they are. So, how do we know what type of sentence something is, and how can we write that sentence? How can we identify it? How can we punctuate it correctly? Well, let's find out. Sentence number 1 is a statement. Now, statements tell you something. They're giving you information. And they usually have full stops, but they can also have exclamation marks if something's particularly funny or shocking or interesting. So here are some examples of statements, things which are just information. Matilda went to the library, something that she did. Her mum and dad were absolutely insane. Again, it's a statement, it's something that is true. This one's got a full stop, this one's got an exclamation mark. You can use either, but I would say if you're doing a piece of writing, don't overuse the exclamation mark because it just looks a bit silly when you're reading that back. So if you're writing statements, use a mixture of exclamation marks and full stops. Don't use too many exclamation marks. Sentence type number 2 is a question. Now, questions are there to ask you something. They want to find some information out, so you need to find out by asking that question. They always use question marks because they are asking something. Questions are pretty nosy. And here are some examples of some questions. What on earth do you want with a book, Matilda? Why are my parents so mean to me? Both of those questions are asking something, they're finding out, which is why it's got the question mark at the very end of the sentence. Let's look at type 3. Type 3 is a command. Commands order you to do something. They're telling you to do something. They're not telling you information, they're ordering you around. They can use full stops, or they can use exclamation marks if it's pretty serious. Commands don't have to be rude. Lots of people think when you're commanding someone, it's like, go over there, do this, do that. They are commands, you're absolutely right. But a command can be polite as well. We can use the word please to command somebody, to order somebody to do something. That's what I normally do if I'm asking somebody to do something, if I'm ordering them around. I do say please because it's just polite to do that. So here are some examples. Eat all of the chocolate cake now, Bruce. Or Bruce, now. Sorry, wrong way round. That one is Miss Trunchbull ordering Bruce to do that horrible thing that we learned about last week. Lavender, please get me a jug of water for Miss Trunchbull. Again, that's Miss Honey ordering Lavender to do something, but do you notice the tone of it's very different because she's been polite. She said the word please. It's still a command because it's still ordering Lavender to do something, but it's just a nicer way of doing it. Obviously, that shows the difference between Miss Trunchbull and Miss Honey. Let's look at type sentence number 4. Number 4 is an exclamation. Now, exclamations show shock, surprise, or sometimes even excitement as well. And they always use an exclamation mark as their punctuation. So here are some examples. How wonderful you are, Matilda. I can't believe it. Both of those are exclaiming something. They're both quite shocked or surprised, aren't they? Which is why they've got that exclamation mark at the very end. So hopefully now you understand about the 4 different sentence types. And now we're going to have a go at our activity on DB Primary. So I'd like you to go to DB Primary and download your task. And again, you've got 3 activities to do today. Task number 1, I'd like you to read the sentences and I want you to correct the punctuation at the end. So if you think it is a command, you're probably going to use an exclamation mark or a full stop. If it is a statement, again, exclamation mark or full stop. If it's a question, you're going to use a question mark, that's right. And what about if it is an exclamation? You're going to use an exclamation mark, of course. Now, task number 2, we're going to see if we can identify the type of sentence that's been written. So you're going to read the sentence and you're going to work out, is it a statement, a question, a command, or an exclamation? And then finally, for task number 3, you're going to see if you can create your own sentences about Matilda, one of each sentence type. So remembering to use the correct punctuation, remembering to have the correct purpose for that sentence as well. Okay? When you finish that, come back here and we'll do our open together. So remember, our objective today was to understand different sentence types, and hopefully you were successful today, but have a think about what you can do to move your learning on. Are you able to name all the 4 different types of sentence? If I asked you next week, what are those 4 types of sentence, would you be able to do it? If not, that's something that you have to make sure you work on because you need to know those 4 types. Can you recognise those different sentence types? If I showed you a sentence, would you be able to work out, is it a question, a command, an exclamation, a statement? If not, again, that's something you need to work on. Can you write statements and questions, which I think arguably are probably the easiest types of sentence to write, a regular statement or a question? And are you able to write commands and exclamations using the appropriate punctuation? Again, have a think about what you need to work on, and that's something you can do in the future.